quorum is present. I now call this virtual meeting to order. The time is 5:20 p.m.
This time, I will call a roll. When your name is called, please answer with here or present. Ramon Garza, President.
Present.
Jeff Miller, Vice President. Jeff Miller, Vice President.
Present.
I.S.D, Secretary. Trustees, Wanda Heath Johnson.
Present.
Noe Esparza.
Present.
Norma Hernandez.
Present.
And Herbert Alexander Sanchez. Also joining us through video conference and will respond with here or present are Sharonda Johnson, Executive Director for School and Community Relations.
Present.
Grayson Thompson, Coordinator for School and Community Relations. Hannah Salinas, Administrative Assistant for Superintendent's Office.
Present.
Terry Moore, Associate Superintendent for Accountability and Academic Support.
Present.
Sonia George, Chief Financial Officer and Deputy Superintendent for Operational Support.
Present.
Brian Clements, Executive Director of Security, Cyber Security, Chief of Police, and Interim Director for Technology.
Present.
Elizabeth Valdez, Executive Assistant to the Board of Trustees and Superintendent.
Present.
Various cabinet members and I, Dr. John Moore, Superintendent of Schools, who's also here. Staff will practice social distancing as required and outlined. Hand sanitizer, disinfectants as recommended. I will now turn this meeting over to Ramon Garza, Board President.
I've lost my picture. This is Jeff Miller. I can see Zoom, but I'm seeing tips and tricks for using the Zoom.
Ms. Valdez, are there any citizen participation items for this evening?
We have no citizen participation items today.
Ms. Valdez, are there any public comment items for this evening?
We have no public comment items today.
I will now turn the floor over to Terry Moore, Associate Superintendent for Accountability and Academic Support, who will present information regarding the development of the strategic plan for GPISD.
Thank you, Mr. Garza, President Garza, and board members. It's good to see you guys all this evening. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you. You should be looking at strategic planning proposal. Is everyone able to view? All right, very good.
Yes.
All right, this is an overview of an initiative that we are going to be working on throughout the school year next year. So we wanted to kind of fill you guys in on what we're going to be doing and how we need you to participate in this endeavor. We're going to be doing strategic planning for the next 5 or 6 year period, maybe even possibly longer, depending on your desires and wishes for the school district. The value or some of the benefits of strategic planning, you can see here, it defines our purpose and our goals. It sends us all in the same direction. You can see it's a clarification of some roles and responsibilities. It improves our community relations because of their participation in the planning. It prioritizes our use of our resources in the school district to make sure that we're using our resources toward the development and the goals that you guys really desire for our school district. And ultimately, it increases the accountability of us here in the school district.
Zoom, so I won't.
Doing what you guys want and where you want to see us go in the future. And just a little bit difference between long range planning, which we already participate in. This is an endeavor we do each year. We do lots and lots of long range planning. But the difference with strategic planning is more about deciding where you want to be and then going backwards and saying, how are we going to get there? It's a plan we can implement in changing environments, and it's more goal and idea driven rather than just by the numbers. The strategic planning process we're going to follow has 5 distinct phases. And we're going to be participating in the first 3 of these throughout this next school year. We're going to be building the purpose, mission, vision, and goals of the school district. And this will be the role the Board of Trustees will play in helping determine what that vision and what your goals are for the school district. And then after you guys determine that, then the leadership team here in the school district and my team will start the data collection and analysis of where we are already in the areas you want us to work in. And then we'll spend the year developing and building the plan that would be implemented the following school year. And then you can see after we implement, there's a whole monitoring and evaluation plan that we would be following for the strategic planning put in place. And when we're ready to set the purpose, mission, vision, and goals, this is ultimately, like I said, where we're going to need your input and your support. We'll have a strategic planning team, but where you guys will come in is you'll help us identify the purpose of the strategic plan. Do you want it to be goal-based and set goals for us for the future and areas for us to hit? Or do you want it to be issue-based? Is there areas you want us to have recovery in, correction in, or areas we need to fix? Or do you want it to be a combination of both, goal-based and issue-based? And then you're going to help us clarify the strategic and operational direction for the school district. We already have the 5 district goals, and that certainly is a great starting point for you guys in helping us determine this. Or it can be the goals that you set us forward with. It doesn't have to change if you're happy with the goals where we are now. And then you're going to help us set these long range goals, not just what are we going to do this next year, but where do we want to be in year 2024 or 2025 or even beyond that. And we'll have you guys, you can see right there, the board members will be part of the implementation committees. Separate and apart from you guys helping determine the direction, you certainly will be invited to participate in any of the implementation committees and teams that are built to address each of the objectives in the plan. We'll also be using our campus leaders, community leaders, parents will be part of this process, as well as all of our department leaders and representatives. When we're ready to start collecting data, we're going to be doing lots of surveys. We're going to be getting with all of our stakeholder groups, focus groups. We'll be finding the strengths, the weaknesses, the obstacles. We'll be doing some SWOT analysis on the areas you guys target as goal areas, as well as prioritizing our existing strategies. We have a lot of things that we're doing in Galena Park I.S.D. that you're going to say, don't get rid of those. We want to keep those. Things that the organizational mandates, things that are just law that we have to make sure that we retain, or some are board policy that we want to make sure that we very, very clearly identify where those fall in the areas that we're going to be targeting in the plan. For example, like the ESSER funds that we're getting, this American Rescue Plan, the positions you're approving tonight, later this evening, those would then be part of the organizational mandates and plans we already have in place, and we would roll them into the strategic plan for monitoring later. And then after we do the study and the data analysis, we would be identifying strategic issues, the areas the community says, the areas our district representatives said, and then we can identify which specific issues or objectives will be part of the strategic plan going forward. Throughout the development, we'll have action plans. I know you guys like SMART goals, so the objectives will have SMART goals where you can have targets and measures each year, somewhat similar to the early literacy and the CCMR goals. You already, the outcome-based measures we report to you already, where we have these annual targets that we can report our progress to you each year. As part of those action plans, we'll certainly also identify the resources and the budgets for each of the areas that we will be working on and what performance measures we will use. Part of the planning is there's a strategic plan approval process, and you guys are a critical piece of the approval process. There's some stop gaps along the way while we're planning to make sure that we're checking in with you and saying, is this really where you want us to be going? Is this the direction we're heading in? As well as using our district planning and advisory committee, the DPAC. That is members of our community, members of our campuses, and representatives from all of our areas in the school district they will also be part of the approval process to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then in the end, ultimately, what we're going to be doing is going to be part of the district improvement plan, which you guys approve each and every school year. So there's lots along the way, reports and progress measures will be monitoring and showing you the targets, as well as bringing to you each year the part of the action plan that is in the district improvement plan. We'll have a communication plan when we're ready to implement. So as we get closer to that, we will certainly update you on how we will be communicating this in the district and what measures we're going to be taking. And you can see the implementation, the planning will be in 21-22 school year, with implementation the following school year through at least 2024 to 2025, and beyond that, if that's the desire or the need for any of the goals. We'll have a monitoring and evaluation plan once implemented. Again, just like the communication plan, we certainly will update you as that is developed during this next school year. And then lastly, you can see this is just an expected planning timeline throughout the year next year, where we're going to be organizing and identifying the purpose and the planning, the mission, the vision, and the values will come early in the school year, so that then we can start collecting data and planning which objectives. You can see where the stars are is where we're going to have the little stop gaps to get with you guys to say, here's where we are, and we want your approval to move forward with the remainder of the plan. Okay, so that is strategic planning in a little small nutshell for now, just to kind of give you guys an update of where we're headed for next year. Are there any questions?
I have a question. Terry, can you go over what an issue based is again?
An issue-based one I know will be part of the strategic plan is the learning loss, the recovery of the instructional gains and student performance that we've been. So I would say that would be issue-based, because that's something we want to recover or we want to fix moving forward. So if there's an area you guys want to see improvement in, things like that would be more issue-based. Or if let's say we were overcrowded in a school and we wanted to do some work around that, that would be issue-based, where if we wanted to have increased performance or we need to fix something, and I'm just using very simple terms for that, but like if we wanted to fix something. Goal-based would be, we want to be here in 5 years, and then like if we wanted to change a direction, or if we wanted to start something new or build something new within the school district, that would be more of the goal-based.
Okay, and you said that we could do it
Absolutely.
pretty much.
Yes,
okay.
It is the Galena Park I.S.D. plan, and this is certainly, it can be a combination of both, one or the other. Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Any more questions for Terry? Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.
I will now turn the floor over to Sonia George, Chief Financial Officer and Deputy Superintendent for Operational Support, who will present a budget workshop.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Okay, so can you all see the screen now?
No.
No, sorry about
Nope.
that. Okay, how about that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so we are going to review tonight where we are at in our budget planning process for the 21-22 year. So I'll give you a little bit of new information. We will also review the budget assumptions that we've made up until this point. We will also review our recommendations for the 21-22 compensation. And then also look at what that does to our budget projections. We'll also talk a little bit about the ESSER money, and then just a quick reminder on our next steps. So since the last time that we reviewed the budget in May, we have learned information about our TRS Active Care rates. This is the health insurance that's offered to the Galena Park I.S.D employees. So the TRS board met in early June at a special meeting, and they approved the rates. And unfortunately, as anticipated, we did see increases across all of the plans. So the high deductible, Active Care 2, and the primary plan all have an 8% increase on the premiums. And then the primary plus plan had a 5.5% increase. Mainly the areas that were identified by the officials with TRS Active Care related to the rate increase were because of obviously the COVID-19 pandemic and increased medical costs related to medical needs. And then also there have become some districts that are offering competitive plans. And so as districts start to offer more competitive plans, then that is creating the need for an increase for the other school districts. On our other employee benefits, this is things like our dental, our vision, our those type of plans. We're really not going to see much changes on those. We will see a change in the dental provider. That's based on feedback from our employees. We're trying to make sure that we have the very best plans available to them that offer the providers that are close in proximity to the school district. So we work with our employee benefits committee and have them assist us in that vetting process. So there will be a minor change on the dental plans. We do anticipate that we may have a very small increase on vision, but that has not been finalized yet. We also plan to continue to offer an employee assistance plan. We offered that this past year through ComPsych, and it has been a very popular plan with our staff. And then we also want to continue telemedicine services, and primarily that's for our active care participants who are on the high deductible plan. And then also we have a group of full-time employees who waive medical coverage. So at least through the provision of the telemedicine services, they can seek medical care. We currently have that plan through Teladoc. That plan does expire at the end of this year, and we do have an RFP out right now and plan to bring you a recommendation at the August board meeting for who would be the telemedicine provider for next year. So on our 21-22 budget assumptions, our average daily attendance number, this is 20,734. This is a flat daily attendance. This is really where we're currently at for 2021. The property values, this is the information that was provided to us by the Harris County Appraisal District back at the end of April. So we're almost $2 billion. That is a very small increase, like 0.2% over where we are at for the 2020 taxing year. Our tax rate estimate, there's just a very small minor change here. And again, we're projecting what we think our maintenance and operations rate will be. And again, to remind you, that will be set by the Texas Education Agency a little later this summer. They will, there's a calculation that's performed. So right now, our M&O rate is 1.128. It looks like this might go to 1.125. And again, this relates to House Bill 3 and the compression laws that went into effect with the last legislative session, not the current one that just ended, but the previous one before that. Really, the only other thing that's changed here is on compensation modeling. This $5.4 million that's on the second to the bottom line. This relates to a 3% general pay increase, which I'll give you just a few more details in a moment. And then we also have 30 new instructional campus-based positions that we are requesting, and the cost of those is $1.8 million, and that's now been included in our projections. So on our 3% general pay increase, we do have an agenda item for you to consider later this evening. This would be an increase for all of our teachers at $2,150. This would put our beginning teacher pay, somebody with 0 years of experience, at $60,850 starting pay. It's a cost of about $5.4 million. On that agenda item, the way that we have written it, it also gives the district flexibility to have a one-time pay that we could implement throughout the year. It actually, in the way the board agenda item is worded, it delegates the authority to the superintendent to establish the dollar amounts for any type of one-time pay. And just as a reminder for you, when a couple of years ago, we did a $500 one-time pay. The cost of that was a little over $2 million. And then this last year, of course, we had the $1,000 net one-time pay. The cost of that was a little over $4 million. So that just gives you an idea of what the cost is difference on those two. Now here on this projection, I have included the $500 one-time. We have the 3% general pay increase. And you can see with this current estimate, 243, almost $500,000 for revenue. And then on our expenditures, very close to 254 million. One of the things that I want to say on this for this general fund projection, where we're currently at right now, we do have a number of items that are included in this expenditure line item that we do believe are eligible for ESSER funding. However, at this point in time, we have not finalized our ESSER plan, and as I shared with you in May, we do have our amount for our ESSER 3, which is about $40 million that's been released to us. We're still developing that plan. The application is due to the Texas Education Agency July 27th. So we haven't committed any funds since we don't have the plan finalized, but we do know that there are a number of items that are included in these expenditures that would be ESSER eligible during 21-22. And so I expect that whenever we give you a presentation at the August board meeting, we will have a much better idea of what the distribution of that money will be, and we'll be able to give you a much better picture of what our general fund looks like at that point. Just a reminder quickly about ESSER. ESSER 1 is the money that we received for 2019-20, and it just supplanted state aid. There wasn't really any additional money for school districts under ESSER 1. ESSER 3, which is the money in the final column on the chart that you were looking at, this is the money we previously told you about in May. We know that we have been awarded $40 million. This is supplemental money. And this is the money that we are currently working on the plan with a grant application due July 27th. Now, what we've learned about since we talked with you at the May board meeting was the ESSER 2 money now has been released. The application for these funds is not due until September the 2nd. And there's a mixed bag here. There's a small amount of this money can be used to supplant hold harmless. So during the current school year for 2020-21, there was a concern that our average daily attendance across the state reduced because of COVID-19. So if a district receives hold harmless funding for 2021, it will be reduced from this ESSER 2 grant fund. And then the remaining amount does become supplemental money that the district can use for very similar purposes to what we can use the ESSER 3 funds for. So for us, 26.6 million, that's the total amount. Again, we'll know a little bit more later this summer what that supplanting amount may be. I do anticipate that it will be a very small dollar amount for us if we have any supplanting requirements at all. So our next steps is that we will have one more workshop with you at the first August board meeting. And then after that, there's some required publications that we have in order to adopt a budget. We plan on doing that at a called meeting on August the 24th. You would adopt the budget at that point, and then it would be effective September the 1st. We also anticipate that later in the month of August that's when we typically receive our certified tax roll information from Harris County Appraisal District. And then it would not be until the October board meeting that we would come back to you once we know what those final tax rate calculations will be. That's all that I have. So do you have any questions at this point as far as where we are at in the budget planning process?
Well, I have a question, Sonia.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back to the excerpt federal funding slide?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
right there.
Yes.
I have a question, and just correct me here. On the 20, if you look at how allocated to LEA, and it says 2020 to 21, the Title I under ESSER 3, and it says supplemental, is that just saying that so much money could go into that, or do the federal government put money in that particular budget for us?
Well, really what that's saying on the supplemental, that's just saying that the full amount of this grant can be used for supplemental types of services. So sometimes when we've received this money, it's actually supplanted what the state aid that we were already entitled to. That's unfortunately what happened with the money that we received in 2019-20. So all this is saying here is that we will not have any supplanting requirements. So the district is able to benefit from the full $40 million.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
do the Title I area get their own amount of money?
Yes, ma'am. They get a
Okay, they still get it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Gotcha.
ma'am. It's just really what that's saying there is that we can use this money for any type of service that is also Title I eligible.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
George, I have a question.
Yes.
So the ESSER 2 money, you said it was 26.6 million,
Yes.
but that only a portion of that was available for us to use as supplemental. What does that mean?
Well, part of it will supplant only the hold harmless amount if Galena Park I.S.D. for the 2020-21 school year is held harmless for ADA purposes. So in other words, if they had to bring us up to a level so that we did not lose funding because of any type of ADA reduction that was COVID related, they will deduct that amount from the 26.6 million. After they deduct that amount, then the remaining amount is supplemental and can be used for the same purposes as ESSER 3. Our average daily attendance really was very comparable to prior years. So if there is an adjustment, I believe at this point that it will be minimal.
Thank you.
So yeah, so I anticipate that we will benefit from the majority of those funds.
I have another final question, but it has to do with the active care health insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we help in any way to help in decreasing the health insurance amount for our employees who are enrolled in this particular insurance?
We do currently contribute towards additional amounts above what we're statutorily required to contribute.
Okay.
But those are definitely options that would be available for the board to consider.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. So you said that, so on our taxes, we're not going to get it till August. But everywhere that I'm seeing tax values, I have like 12 properties in the district. Every single one has gone way up, every single one.
Mhm.
And one of them's gone up like $100,000.
Right, and I think that probably where you're seeing that at is if we look at the breakdown of our taxable value, we do see where those residential values are increasing. For our tax base, it is by far the majority of commercial personal property. And that is where we're maybe not seeing that same type
As
of.
much. Because what was the breakdown? What is residential to commercial percentage wise?
It's like we're 60 to 70% commercial. So by far, the vast majority of our value comes from commercial. And a large portion of that commercial value is actually the personal property. So our
Yes.
residential value is a small percentage of our overall tax base.
Any more questions for Ms. George? Thank you, Ms. George.
Okay, thank
There
you.
being no other business before the board at this time, the meeting is adjourned. It is 5:51 p.m. of Trustees of Galena Park Independent School District is now convening a regular meeting on Monday, June 14, 2021 via video conference. The time is 6 p.m. I want to welcome the viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Galena Park I.S.D. Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policies for the district. It is not the role of the board to make the day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operation of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to hear this matters discussed. Thank you for taking the time to join us today and for the interest in Galena Park Independent School District. At this time, I will call roll.
That's me, Ramon.
I'll
At
stop.
this time, I will call roll. When your name is called, please answer if you're present. Ramon Barber, present.
Present.
Jeff Miller, vice president.
Here,
Adrian Stevens, secretary. Trustees, Wanda E. Johnson.
Present.
Elias Morrison.
Present.
Laura Hernandez.
Present.
And Herbert Alexander Sanchez. Also joining us in the video conference and will respond here are present are Giovanna Johnson, Executive Director of School Community Relations.
Here.
Christian Thompson, Coordinator for School Community Relations. Hannah Sanders, Administrative Assistant from Superintendent's Office.
Present.
Brian Clements, Executive Director of Security, Cyber Security, Chief Police and Interim Director for Technology.
Present.
Elizabeth Valdez, Executive Assistant to the Board of Trustees and Superintendent. Cabinet Member Sonia George.
Here.
Dr. Juan Giovanni.
Present.
Elizabeth Lagle.
Here.
Gary Moore.
Here.
Michelle Letts.
Here.
Dr. David Harris.
here.
Mike McKay.
Here.
And I, Dr. John Moore, Superintendent of Schools, I'm also here. Staff members can practice social distancing as required and outlined, use hand sanitizer, disinfectants, etc. as recommended. I will now turn this meeting over to Ramon for all the questions.
Give us just 1 second. Mr. Garza's frozen.
Okay, I think I had lost it. I'm back. Are there any citizen participation items for this evening?
We have no citizen participation items today.
Ms. Valdez, are there any public comment items for this evening?
Yes, we have public comment items.
Pa- Patrons who are duly registered for policy B de local may address the board regarding matters of concerns, interest to the district, other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. I would like to remind the video conference audience that the comments of the speaker sent via online link reflect their own positions or opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter that is not listed under the action item portion of the agenda. Therefore, board members may not discuss the comments. Please understand that a lack of response from board members does not indicate agreement or approval of the comment. Ms. Valdez, you may begin.
Tonight, I'll be reading a public comment from Maria Barasa. Dear Galena Park I.S.D. trustees, this year has been eventful and challenging for all of us in Galena Park I.S.D. I've met the huge challenge brought forth by the COVID-19 pandemic to our classrooms. Our performance during this period has been rated as exceeds expectations. We have been faced with many challenges, but also great rewards. Before I delve into the core purpose of my letter, I would like to express my full confidence in the benefit system followed at this school district and delight of being parts of this wonderful team. I have absolutely no doubt in the district's desire to establish a fair environment for all staff by adequately compensating them. This is just one of the many reasons I take pride in being part of this wonderful family and the reason I am able to write such letter. I never felt more professionally dedicated in my life than I did now. I am grateful for the opportunity to work here and I really do enjoy it. To return the favor, I have always given the best of my abilities in this position and I always worked hard to make sure my performance stays rising. As you are aware, some time has passed since our last increment. We believe our performance has been on par with the demands of our position. We demonstrated good understanding of what needs to be accomplished in the scope of our work and current situation. Due to the increasing cost of living and increased medical bills incurred by many of my colleagues and me due to COVID, I would like to recommend to you, the Board of Trustees, to consider a 3% increase for teacher salaries for the next school year. I have trust that you would make the best decision for our school district's teachers. Thank you. Sincerely, Maria Barasa. The next public comment that I will be reading is from Giovanna David. Dear Galena Park I.S.D. board members, I am speaking on behalf of myself and the hundreds of teachers in our wonderful district. I am an 8th grade teacher at North Shore Middle School, which has been my home for the last 4 years. As this school year comes to an end and we reflect on the many obstacles we survived, I am proud of the work we did. I am in awe of my colleagues who fought through their own traumas to come in every day and deliver quality education, whether in person or virtually. Seeing teachers and support staff adapting quickly and enthusiastically to reach students with inspiration. This year saw teachers sacrifice more than ever. We became frontline workers and an essential part of bringing a sense of normalcy to our students. We saw teachers doing what they do best, their students while delivering quality instruction, all the while making it seem effortless. Teachers cemented what we knew all along. Teachers are an essential part of the community. With the rising cost of everything, including health insurance, teachers need more to keep their families afloat. Our families have sacrificed much already as we worked those extra hours it took to learn how to teach in this new normal. Today, I ask that you provide the teachers and support staff of Galena Park I.S.D. a pay raise of at least 3%. This will not go unnoticed and will send the message that the hard work of the past year was truly appreciated. Thank you so much for all that you do for our community and for considering my request. Regards, Giovanna David, educator, North Shore Middle School. The next public comment that I'll be reading is from Brandy Proctor. Dear Galena Park I.S.D. School Board, I have been a 2nd grade classroom teacher for the past 5 years now, with a total of 14 years in education. I have seen firsthand the impact and importance of having effective and knowledgeable teachers. In order to be able to retain and sustain these wonderful teachers, we have to be adequately compensated. I am writing this letter to ask for a 4% raise for the 2021-2022 school year. My colleagues and I have been working tirelessly to provide face-to-face and virtual education to all of our students during these unprecedented times. We have worked with vigor and grace to provide our students with the quality and supernal education that will not only sustain them during elementary school, but beyond to their adult lives. As we continue, we will prevail and pour into our students and teach them the valuable skills needed, such as cultural awareness, diversity, problem solving, and critical thinking skills. Armed with these amazing skills and tools, we know that they will become future productive citizens in our community. I know that with the proper pay increase that we are requesting, we will be able to continue with the full momentum necessary and progress forward into another great school year. Sincerely, Brandy Proctor. President Garza, there are no more items in this category. You're on mute.
Sorry. Today's invocation will be presented by Board Member Jeff Miller, and the pledges to the American and Texas flags will be led by Board Member Noe Esparza.
Those who would please bow with me. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for our many blessings. We're thankful for the beauty of your creation. We're thankful for your love. We're thankful for the love we share with our family and friends. We thank you for educators. We thank you for first responders. We thank you for our military. And we thank you for our medical community. Watch over these people, help them with their task, and keep them safe. Help us tonight, dear Lord, in this meeting to do what is best for our community and our children. And bless our efforts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. No, he's muted.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Miller and Mr. Esparza.
Yes, sir.
At this time, I would like to declare for public record that Adrian Stevens, position 1, and Wanda Heat Johnson, position 2, have been duly qualified for office and completed the oath of office before a notary public and may officially assume the duties of their office. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
We will now move on to this evening's special recognition portion of the agenda. Dr. Moore?
This evening, we have some special recognitions. I'd like to congratulate everyone being recognized tonight. At this time, I will turn the floor over to Ms. Sharonda Johnson, Executive Director for School and Community Relations.
Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Moore. I am excited to assist with the recognition portion of this evening's meeting. We are pleased to recognize several businesses who have served our school community in outstanding ways, as well as several groups of students who have achieved great accomplishments this school year. This evening's first recognition is of the Houston Food Bank for providing food during our Galena Park I.S.D. food distribution events. The Houston Food Bank distributes food and other essentials to those in need through a network of more than 1,500 community partners and hosts numerous local food distribution events throughout the area. The Houston Food Bank partnered with Galena Park I.S.D. to sponsor 4 food distribution events. The distributions have provided food, produce, water, milk, juice, and much more to over 6,300 families in the GPISD community. Thank you, Houston Food Bank. As you can imagine, it is no small feat to distribute food to over 6,300 families in our community. Simply put, it is a task we could not accomplish without the assistance of others in this wonderful community. Several organizations in our community stepped up to the plate to provide the district with monetary donations and volunteers to help these massive undertakings run smoothly, including the Rotary Club of North Shore, led by President Lowell Everett, the Office of Precinct 2 County Commissioner Adrian Garcia, the Galena Park I.S.D. Education Foundation, led by Mr. Wayne O'Quinn, and the United Community Credit Union. The volunteer support and monetary donations made by these outstanding organizations made our food distribution events resounding successes, and without a doubt, helped GPISD families send their children to school ready to learn during this most unusual school year. Thank you, community partners. The next organization Galena Park I.S.D. is recognizing tonight is the North Channel Area Chamber of Commerce for their invaluable support of Galena Park I.S.D. and their participation in all district ribbon cutting events for our new and upgraded facilities. GPISD is grateful for and extends heartfelt thanks to Chamber President Margie Wintello and her staff for all of the event support they have provided to the GPISD community throughout the years. We look forward to continuing this important partnership for years to come. Next, I am pleased to shine our spotlight on 3 amazing groups of GPISD students. First, Galena Park ISD is recognizing 11 7th grade students for demonstrating advanced aptitude on the pre-ACT 8-9 assessment. These students earned a composite score of 22 or higher, scoring as high as or higher than 90% of the students across the country who took the same assessment. In addition, student Jace Tepiz scored 27 out of a possible 30 points on the pre-ACT assessment. His performance ranked among the top 99% of students in the nation. Congratulations to all 11 of these outstanding students and to their teachers and parents as well. The next group of students GPISD is excited to recognize this evening is the North Shore Senior High School 6A Calculator Applications State Champion Team for winning the 2021 UIL State Academic Meet. The Calculator Applications Contest is a high-level math and problem-solving competition. The team members are Gustavo Cordoza, Michelle Chan, Cassie Mai, and Cecilia Mai. Congratulations to this awesome team and their coach, Mr. Donald Kirby, for their dedication and hard work towards this outstanding accomplishment. Lastly, the district recognizes Galena Park High School students for winning awards in the 2021 State Visual Arts Scholastic event. This state-level culminating event of creative Genius Art students is held annually in April. State qualifying artwork is assessed by certified Texas Art Education Association jurors from across the United States. Congratulations to each of these students for their impressive works of art and abundant artistic talent. This concludes the recognition portion of this evening's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon this time. Does anyone have a comment at this time?
Mr. President, may I, Jeff Miller?
Yes.
I want to take this opportunity to once again thanks Don Ramon for his leadership during this extremely difficult and trying time. It's been a difficult year and he's done a great job with a difficult task. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anybody else?
I would like to take this moment to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Wanda.
Y'all welcome.
I want to thank all the principals who put on a great graduation yesterday. Dr. Joe Coleman, Dr. Kim Martin, Mr. Hutchinson. They did an extraordinary job in leading their graduation. The kids were so well behaved, and it was a pleasure to be on stage and to congratulate those students. Thank you.
Here, here.
I'll second that. That was a great graduation, and it was nice to finally have one after one last. So it was exciting to be there, and I know the kids were just as excited as we were.
Definitely was a great event.
Thank you. Harold Sonny Fletcher, Senior Director for Facilities and Planning Construction, will provide a 2016 bond program construction update.
Good evening. Thank you, President Garza. Start our construction review here with Galena Park High School. If we'll remember last month, we saw a lot of walls were just up, but we didn't have ceilings in. Here on the picture on the right, you see the ceilings in, our floor finishes are in. We've got some touch-up paint work, which is an excellent sign. The picture on the left, we have our some ceiling tile in, still working on some duct work and test and balance. And of course, wall tile is up. Next project, we've already started some HVAC replacement at Woodland Acres Middle School. The picture on the right, you all, if you've been by, that is a storage, that used to be a storage tank in the picture on the right. And not very important today, but will be important next winter. New boilers there in the picture on the left. Other construction that we'll have some updates on, because we'll have things worth photographing, if you will. MacArthur Elementary for our summer 2021 work, as well as some structural repairs at the administration building. So I have some pictures of those. And then, of course, our projects in design. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had our Galena Park High School Phase 2 design review meeting with the advisory committee. We'll have some things forthcoming here at the August board meeting on Galena Park High School Phase 2. And thank you. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Fletcher? Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution for inclusion of additional text to district policy CB local, state, and federal reserve service as presented.
I, Norma Hernandez, move we approve the resolution for inclusion of additional text to district policy CB as presented.
I, Wanda Johnson, second the motion.
If the motion passes, I, Ramon Garza, authorize GPISD to utilize my electronic signature for these items. Mr. Miller, do you authorize the use of electronic signature as well?
Yes, sir, I do.
A motion was made by Norma Hernandez and second by Wanda Johnson. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller.
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens. No. Wanda Johnson.
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza.
Noe Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez.
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez. I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motion carries 5-0 with no abstentions. I will entertain a motion to approve to hire 30 new positions for the 2021 through 2022 school year as presented.
I, Wanda Johnson, move we approve to hire 30 new positions as presented.
I Noe Esparza second the motion.
As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff
Mr.
Miller.
Garza? Mr. Garza,
Yes.
you go back to where it says a motion was made by?
Oh, I'm so sorry. A motion was made by Wanda Johnson and second by Noe Esparza. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
Noe Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez. I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motion carries 5-0 with no abstention. With respect to the general consent agenda, do we want to remove any items for separate vote or take the agenda as is?
I Noe Esparza move we approve the general consent agenda as presented.
I, Wanda
Aye.
Johnson, second the motion.
If the motion passes, I, Ramon Garza, authorize GPISD to utilize my electronic signature for these items. Mr. Miller, do you authorize the use of electronic signature as well?
Yes, sir, I do.
A motion was made by Noe Esparza and second by Wanda Heath Johnson. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
Noe Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez. I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motions carries 5-0 with no abstention. With the respect to the construction consent agenda, do we want to remove any items for separate vote or take the agenda as is?
I, Norma Hernandez, move we approve the construction consent agenda as presented.
I Noe Esparza second the motion.
If the motion passes, I, Ramon Garza, authorize GPISD to utilize my electronic signature for these items. Mr. Miller, do you authorize the use of electronic signature as well?
Yes, sir, I do.
A motion was made by Norma Hernandez and second by Noe Esparza. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
Noe Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez. And I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motions carry 5-0 with no abstention. With the respect to the financial consent agenda, do we want to remove any items for separate vote or take the agenda as is?
I, Jeff Miller, move we approve the financial consent agenda as presented.
I, Norma Hernandez, second the motion.
If the motion passes, I, Ramon Garza, authorize GPISD to utilize my electronic signature for these items. Mr. Miller, do you authorize the use of your electronic signature as well?
Yes, sir, I do.
A motion was made by Jeff Miller and second by Norma Hernandez. As I call your name, please state your name or indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Esparza,
Noe Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez. I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motions carries 5-0 with no abstention. Sonia George, Chief Financial Officer and Deputy Superintendent for Operational Support, presented the donation report for May 2021 to the comparative tax collection report for the period of September 1 through April 30th for fiscal years 2019 and 2020 and 2020 to 2021. 3, the comparative tax collection report for the period of September 1 through May 31st for fiscal years 2019 through 2020 and 2020 through 2021. Quarterly investments report for this period of December 1, 2020 through February 28, 2021. 5, the 2016 bond program financial report as of April 30th, 2021. And then B, Elizabeth Layler, Deputy Superintendent for Educational Support and School Administration, presented 1, the Early Head Start Policy Council meeting minutes from April 2021 and 2, the Early Head Start update and Fund 205 expenditure report summary from the April 2021. An executive session of the board will be held in matters contained in the notice for the meeting as authorized by sections 551.001 through sections 551.084 of the Texas Government's Code, the Texas Opens Meetings Act. The time is 6:31 p.m. Staff, with the exception of Dr. Moore, Mr. McKay, and Ms. Valdez, are dismissed from the boardroom at this time. All other staff joining us via video conference will be placed on a Zoom waiting room. Staff who was live streaming the meeting, please stop the live stream video. Executive session is adjourned. The live streaming has begun. And the board is now in open session. The time is 6:40 PM. I will entertain a motion in items covered in executive session. Is there a motion to approve employment of contractual personnel as presented?
I, Wanda Johnson, move we approve the employment of contractual personnel as presented.
I know Esparza second the motion.
A motion was made by Wanda Johnson and second by Noe Esparza. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
No Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez. I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motion carries 5-0 with no abstentions. Is there a motion to elect Jeff Miller for the office of President of the Galena Park I.S.D Board of Trustees for 2021 through the 2022 school year?
I know Esparza move we approve to elect Jeff Miller for the office of president as presented.
I, Norma Hernandez, second the motion.
As a motion was made by Noe and second by Norma Hernandez. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
No Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez, and I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motion carries 5-0 with no abstentions. Is there a motion to elect Adrian Stevens for the office of Vice President for Galena Park I.S.D Board of Trustees for the 2021 through 2022 school year?
I, Wanda Johnson, move we approve to elect Adrian Stevens for the office of Vice President as presented.
I, Norma Hernandez, second that motion.
A motion was made by Wanda Heath Johnson and second by Norma Hernandez. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
No Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motion carries 5-0 with no abstentions. Is there a motion to elect Noe Esparza for the office of Secretary of the Galena Park I.S.D Board of Trustees for 2021 through 2022 school year as presented?
I, Jeff Miller, move that we elect Noe Esparza as Secretary of the Galena Park I.S.D Board of Trustees for the 2021-22 school year.
I, Wanda Johnson, second the motion.
A motion was made by Jeff Miller and second by Wanda Heath Johnson. As I call your name, please state your name and indicate your vote by stating in favor, oppose, or abstain. Jeff Miller,
Jeff Miller in favor.
Adrian Stevens, Wanda Johnson,
Wanda Johnson in favor.
Noe Esparza,
No Esparza in favor.
Norma Hernandez,
Norma Hernandez in favor.
Herbert Sanchez, and I, Ramon Garza, am in favor. The motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, gentlemen and ladies. And it's been a pleasure being y'all's past president.
Well done.
Very well done.
Yay.
There being no other business before the board at this time, the meeting is adjourned. The time is 6:44 PM from your past president from Los Ramones, Nuevo León. I think this is the first meeting that ever been presided, probably outside of Texas.